Welcome back, writers and creatives, to Listening to the Voices in Our Heads. My name is Jenna O'Malley, and I am very thrilled and pleased to sit down and talk to you about something super on topic around this channel and something some of you are considering doing as part of your publishing journey, and that's Kickstarter. I'm sitting down with my friend Avery today, so do join us for another episode of Listening to the Voices in Our Heads. Let's get started. So, everybody, welcome back. Hello, Avery. Welcome in, my friend. Go ahead and introduce yourself. Give us a little bit of background about you and all the epic things you have going on we're going to get into.
Sure. Well, my name is Avery Volz. I am the author of To the One I Love, To Now and Forever, and Gray Matter, which comes out October 10th of this year, 2024. I am also a Penn State student. I'm a psych student with a minor in English creative writing. I'm a hip hop dancer. I love dogs. There's a lot to me that doesn't meet the eye. Like, for example, I don't know how to cook, but I try anyway. Stuff like that. And yeah, there's a lot of really exciting things coming. For example, like my book is coming out, so I'm editing it right now, choosing covers. I also just finished a Kickstarter, which was really exciting and super fun. That went very, very well. We reached our goal, and that was very exciting.
So kind of off the tail end of your win with Kickstarter. Congratulations, by the way. All the love there. You're welcome. Well-deserved, well-earned. With your upcoming, is this a debut novel that's coming out here in the fall then that went through Kickstarter?
No, so this is actually my third novel.
Wow.
Yeah, I wrote my first two when I was 17. Originally, it was one book. And my publisher at the time was like, Avery, let's split it up. It's too long. It was like 450 some pages. And she was like, Avery, how about we just take a step back and rethink this process a little bit? And she was like, when you split it up, you'll have one for like the diehard fans to love and to continue on with the sequel. So yeah, that was something that was her idea, and I really ran with that.
I love that idea. Now, you're currently through Highlander Press, correct?
Yeah. So I actually met Debbie Keevan, who is my publisher now. I met her at a networking event at Penn State York, and that was so like perfect and like God-given, because at the time my previous publisher was going through some trouble with this part of her company that published like third-party novels and stuff like that. And she unfortunately had to shut that part of her company down. But I met Debbie a few weeks later at the networking event, and I was so nervous. Like, she's the only reason I went to that event. And I was like, I'm going to meet a publisher. I gotta, do everything I can do to like, meet her and talk to her. And I gave her my book to read, and she, my debut, which is To the One I Love. She read it and she loved it. And I submitted Gray Matter to her a few months ago, and she was like, let's publish this. Like, let's go.
And
let's rock and roll.
That's the one that won that completed Kickstarter, right?
Yeah.
Awesome. So tell us about what it's like publishing a debut versus publishing with Kickstarter. Let's change that question up a little bit.
Mm-hmm. So publishing a debut was really interesting because at the time I didn't really know everything that goes along with the publishing process. Like, for example, how long it would take. Like, I wrote To the One I Love in 2020, and it didn't get published until I believe 2022 when it first came out. And I wrote that when I was 17 years old. So I was very young, didn't really know that much. And I still don't really know that much, but I'm continuing to grow and continuing to learn, versus now with the Kickstarter. I know a lot more, and I'm actually part of a cohort with Debbie, with some other writers who are very dear to my heart. And they were learning all about the publishing process, how to choose covers, how to market your book, how to keep your name out there. And that's really been very helpful. So I'm continuing to grow, continuing to learn. And yeah.
love it. So versus doing Kickstarter, how much different of a beast is Kickstarter than just say all of publishing?
Kickstarter it's fun, but it's also very like you have to be super involved with it. So for example, you have to be on social media, you have to be always talking about it. Debbie kind of said it's like telling anybody you can that you're a published author, but it's also telling everybody you can that you're doing a Kickstarter. And saying like, you know, if you meet somebody in the grocery store in line and you just happen to strike up a conversation, saying like, you know, by the way, I'm doing a Kickstarter and I'm a published author. And if you feel, you know, called to do so, I would really love if you would pledge. Or, you know, just spread the word because that's super helpful as well.
It takes a while to get used to linking the two together because
Yeah.
if I have a feeling I always forget, like I'm getting ready to do my second one here in a couple months. I know I haven't mentioned it nearly half as much as I should, and you're probably thinking that too. That's a conversation I could have worked that into.
Yeah. It's always something that I feel like you can prepare, but you can never prepare enough.
Bingo.
You know? Yeah. And
Bingo.
it's something that is like I said, super fun, but that you always have to be talking about. And if you're an introvert like me, that can be really difficult.
This is very true. I recently heard a Nobel Prize winning literary author say, this is going to be very painfully awkward. Keep in mind, I sit in a room all day for 8 to 10 hours a day and talk to people I make up in my head and get paid to do it. And I'm like, appropriate.
Yeah, for sure.
Appropriate. So are you still in college or graduating or?
Yeah, I'll be a senior this upcoming fall, which is wild. Just yesterday, I was a freshman, so to be, you know, going back and being a senior, I have a lot of tough classes coming up in my psych major, but I'm also very excited because they're going to help me grow and mature in my knowledge, and I want to be a Christian counselor, so that's something where I'm, you know, always learning and growing, and it's never ends, but that's okay.
If you haven't already, you'll find that everything you learn in psychology, you can use for character development.
That's exactly, I get this question all the time is like, Avery, why are you majoring in psychology and not English creative writing? And I was like, well, the more you know about people, the easier it is to work with your characters and the easier it is to write a believable character. And I feel like with Gray Matter, I really achieved like 4-dimensional characters. Like I love them so,
the title
so
of the
much.
book is psychology linked. I love it.
Know. Wait, can I tell you that story? Like that is so good.
Go for it.
How I came up with Gray Matter was for the longest time I didn't have a title, and I was texting some of my other writer friends and I was like, help, like I can't come up with this title. And my one friend from Paris, his name is Cross, he was like, Avery, what about something like psychology links? And I was like, let me think on it. I was like, let me chew on it. Let me try to come up with something. And Gray Matter came to my mind. I swear it was like God put it in my mind. And I was like, thank you, Lord, because gray matter there's gray matter in the brain, which, you know, the less you have of gray matter, the more likely it is to struggle with a mental health disorder, like bipolar disorder, which one of my main characters struggles with. But then also, it's a gray matter to love somebody who struggles with a mental health disorder. That's not a black or white situation. It's a gray matter. So that's kind of how I came up with the title. And I love it.
It's ingenious. It's ingenious. When I saw the title of it, I taught English, high school English, but half of my coursework as an educator is sociology, psychology.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I'm like, I think there's layered meaning here. And as someone who lives with a disability that's psychology based, thank you for looking for that. Because a lot of us, it lives right beneath our surface.
Yeah. Mental health is, yeah, of course. Mental health. I struggle with my own mental health. I struggle with anxiety and depression. And it's these demons that you don't see. So it's like, how can you tell if somebody's struggling or if they're just putting on a smile? You always have to be kind. That's what I feel like this whole book is about, just kindness. And like, it's so easy to be kind. So why aren't more people, you know, doing that?
definitely on topic for this channel, we talk about something called soul care.
Mm-hmm.
Anything that touches the body, dancing, for example, would be physical, that's your body, but the music you're listening to feeds your soul.
Yeah.
So, in that vein of thought, as a busy college student who's also kicking off an author career, very well so, how do you maintain some of that soul care? How do you take care of you and balance that?
That's a great question, Jenna. Actually, I see an academic organization coach on campus, and her job is to literally sit down with me every other week and just say, "Hey, Avery, I know you're taking 16 credits, but let's talk about." Yeah, and I know that, and I'm president of a club, and I'm part of 3 clubs, and I have a lot on my plate. So she sits down with me and she says, "Hey, Avery, like, are you eating enough? Are you drinking enough water? Are you sleeping at least 7 hours a night?" And I had to rearrange my schedule a little bit because I'm one of those people who can work right through lunch, work right through dinner, because I'm a straight A student. Like, my grades are everything to me. And I for a long time I like put my identity into my grades, which was really unhealthy. But I'm a perfectionist, so that's really hard to kick. So my academic organization coach, her name is Sharon. I love her. She really helps me to be mindful of what I need to do as far as taking care of myself. I love exercising. I love dancing, especially. Um, I love journaling, of course. And I go to therapy all the time. Like, therapy is super helpful, and I'm a huge advocate for therapy. You know, if people can go to the gym and exercise, why can't they go to therapy and exercise their brain a little bit, you know? Um, and
That's a healthy way to look at it, too.
yeah, for sure. I can't take credit for that. I saw that on Instagram, but I loved it. So now it's like my life philosophy. Um, and I do these things, and they're very, very helpful. But I have times where I'm down and out and not feeling well, and it's really hard to write during those times, but I just try to power through. And I'm very religious. I'm a Christian, so I read my Bible all the time and pray all the time, and really try to work through it and try to get to the other side, and because there always is another side. Let's highlight that.
I will wholeheartedly agree. And I don't even necessarily think saying this to my friends on the channel who aren't necessarily religious, they probably would even agree with you. Like, yeah, there's something I need to do that is akin thereof. You read
Mhm.
your Bible, you do your yoga, you go on your walk,
Right.
you clean that one area of the house that itches your brain to calm down, or rather scratches the itch in your brain to calm down. So yeah, definitely find what works for you. So going
Yeah.
back to Kickstarter, whose idea was it for you to do it, and what made you excited to do it? Because it's a large undertaking.
Yeah, this was Debbie's idea. I had actually never heard of Kickstarter before I did one. It was a whole new concept for me. I was like, and I was so honest with Debbie. I was like, "Look, I'm really nervous for this. Like, I don't know if I'm gonna reach my goal. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to talk to people. Like I said, I'm an introvert, so it's really hard to strike up a random conversation with a stranger for me." And she was so supportive. She was like, "Avery, we're going to get through this together." And she made graphics for me. She put my whole thing together, like my whole Kickstarter together. And she was just holding my hand the whole time and like so supportive. And she was emailing me and she was like, "You're 96% there, Avery. Like, you're almost there." And I was like, "I know, I'm trying so hard." But I also have to give a shout out to all the people who pledged, because I wouldn't have been able to accomplish this great achievement without them. And I am so, from the bottom of my heart, grateful for them, and Debbie, of course, as well.
We do recognize that in our community here. And as you're getting ready to graduate the next year, I invite you to join around the community here, because a lot of what you're getting from Debbie and your academic coaches, we do in the Harp Readings writing community. And you're welcome to come and hang with us there
That
all the
sounds so
time.
fun. Oh my gosh.
So,
Thank you.
yeah, hey, I'm glad to invite the captain at the helm, Sarah Cannon's amazing. And as an admin, I can only admit you'd fit right in. So
Thank you so much. That's so kind. Oh my
come
goodness.
visit. We do sprints on YouTube, and some people listening in the chat's like, she's not a Hardy. She's not a Hardy. She sounds like one of us, Jenna. She's getting the invite, everybody. So
Yes, thank you so much.
yes, I will hook you up. You will love the community. We're a mix of indie, hybrid, some trad
Mm.
authors, but yeah.
Oh my
So
gosh.
welcome in. With the
Thank you.
Kickstarter, do you feel like you're building a community of your own there with the pledges?
Yeah, for sure, for sure. A lot of the people who pledged were, of course, I asked my family to do it, and I have such a wonderful, supportive family, and they were so quick to be like, "Absolutely, let me help you out." There were some people who I didn't even know on my list, and I was like, "Wow, like this is really cool um, to be pledged to by a stranger who I don't know, and I wish I could thank them face to face, but I don't know who they are." So I feel like, if anything, I'm building a following that is necessary for an author to have.
We can't do what we do without our following. They literally keep the lights on. So thank you guys.
Yes, thank you.
Big
Wouldn't be here
time.
without you.
Big time. So as far as like Debbie did a lot of help, like who chose what went into the tiers? Was that a conversation that you and Debbie designed together? Because a lot of people here have managed their own in the past or worked with someone else, is why I'm asking.
Yeah, to be completely honest, Jenna, I don't know if I would have been able to do this on my own. Like it's very daunting to me. And Debbie, I feel like just knows everything. She is so cool. She's so amazing. And she's helped me tremendously. But yeah, that was a conversation between the two of us, and really it was collaborative the whole time. Um, Everything that she suggested or brainstormed was I had the final say in everything, and she came up with super great ideas, and I was like, yeah, I love that. Like, let's move forward with it.
So what was in some of your tiers? Like was it strictly book things or what kind of swag did you include, if any?
Yeah, so for the flat swag, we have like bookmarks, book plates signed that I will be signing in a few days, and sending out. And the further you go up in the tiers, the more you have access to my first and second books, which were just republished May 8th with new covers, new editions, and in the sequel to Now and Forever, there is a sneak peek of Gray Matter. So if you can get your hands on that, of course. And then the further up in the tiers you go, you actually have early access to Gray Matter digitally. And that's super exciting. I can't believe that it's almost out in the reader's hands. And I this is my favorite project I've ever written. So to have it be coming to an end and having it be almost in readers' hands is like a dream come true. And then you also can have your name in my book, in my next book, or you can name a character in my next book. That was a pretty high pledge, but that one's super exciting, and I did have some people pledge that much, so they're going to be able to name a character in my book.
These are all good ideas for those of you planning Kickstarters. Heads up, it doesn't have to. Some of us like to be extra and do all the swag. You don't have to.
Yeah, the flat swag is really fun though, because it's like it's whatever you want it to be like, and it doesn't have to be that crazy. Like we're just doing bookmarks and book plates, and I think that that's like super exciting in and of itself.
And by flats, what she means is stuff you can put in an envelope.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love these ideas. So what do you wish you knew a year ago before Kickstarter?
Oh man, yeah, that's a great question. I think I would want to know how rigorous it is, because it's one thing, kind of like we talked about before, it's one thing to say, Avery, you have to be present these couple weeks, you have to be prepared, you have to be willing to be on social media, you have to be willing to talk about it. But it's another thing to actually do those things and sit down and think about things to post on social media and be present and checking the Kickstarter and advertising it in any way possible. So I wish I knew how rigorous it is, and now I do know. So I'm very grateful.
And reflecting ahead then, where do you see yourself being in the next 10 years? Are you doing more Kickstarters?
That's a great question as well. It depends on Debbie, honestly. Like if she sees it, I will do it. Like she's incredible and she really trusts me and I trust her profusely. So for my author business, I would say, never say never. I don't know what's going to happen, but I'm excited to do a Kickstarter. I'm excited to do something else. I'm not sure yet. But in 10 years, as far as my author career goes, I hope to still be writing books. I hope to still be publishing or being published. I hope to have more of an audience and to be friends with my audience, because that's the most important part. I don't want to be somebody on a screen that's just kind of speaking, or I don't want to seem like some otherworldly person that's like, oh, she's Avery, like she's up there, I don't want to talk to her. Like that's not it at all. Like I want to be seen as everybody else, as equal, and like talk to people about mental health and talk to people about the importance of books, because we need books. Oh my goodness, we like need readers in the world.
This is what I often tell people in some cultures is the difference between a priest and a priestess. The priest is and this being Christian, I grew up Catholic, they're at the front of the mass group of people. The priestess are kind of like the nuns. Let me go sit among you, sit down here. Hi, sweetie, how you doing? That's how you kind of feel like you want to be as an author a little bit.
Yeah, for sure. I want to be in with the crowd and I want to be speaking to people. Yeah.
If anyone could be a little bit like some of the sisters I grew up as an author, I think you're going to rock it. Good job, my friend. You remind me of one of them. She was in her 30s when I knew her as a kid, and she's just very similar in very kind persona. And she wrote that she was a research nun.
Okay.
And that's what she liked to do, was write articles on biblical history. So you kind of like persona-wise remind me a little bit of her. It's very, very nice to have more people in the writing space with that energy. So thank you.
Yeah, for sure. And that's a really good point too. Writing articles is something that I'm kind of new to. I do research with one of my professors on campus. We're studying the mental health perception in romantic relationships and how that plays into suicidal ideation, which is so cool. And we're like, doing this research, and then we're adding stuff like the suicide hotline and everything. Like we're hopefully saving lives with this research. And that's something that I'll be writing articles on in the fall. So I'm new to that as well, but I'm super excited, and the experience that it's given me is absolutely amazing.
See, that's where most of my life was prior to becoming an indie author, was not only teaching academic writing, but I was a research freelance writer for a long time. So enjoy APA. If you don't know it yet, you're a senior, you probably know APA.
I do, yeah.
It doesn't go away. It doesn't go away. The good thing is, to all of you who don't know what we're talking about citation formats for research. And if you write fiction, you have no clue what we're talking about. You're like, MLA, different system, different type of things you'd write for, guys.
I'm because I'm an English minor, I still have to write an MLA sometimes. So it's like writing for my psychology articles and writing for my English essays is like, I have to go to the library every single day. Like I'm in there talking to the research librarian, and I'm like, please help.
I've even taught both systems, and I'm like, wait a minute, which one am I talking about again? The period goes where? Yeah. It really boils down to that. The period or the comma goes where in the citations. So.
Yeah. And the parentheses, and it's crazy. It's
Do you include the year or don't you include the year?
Right. Oh my gosh, I can't. This is taking me back.
All my fiction author friends are like, there's a side to Jenna we don't want to know more about. Our brain hurts. She's talking numbers.
Oh my gosh, that's hilarious.
I love this. So what would you say to maybe 10-year-old you, younger you, about this journey?
I would say, don't listen to other people's, I don't know the word, degrading comments, and write what you want to write. Don't think about, is this going to lose me readers? Is this going to gain me readers? Because in the beginning, all you should be writing for is yourself. And all you should be writing for is, does this feel good to me? Does this not feel good to me? And I think that that's really important. As a young girl, I'm not sure if I knew that. So now I think I'm learning that. I'm actually writing my 4th book right now, and it's a subject that I haven't written on. I can't say anything about it yet, but it's a subject I haven't written on ever, and I'm very, very excited about it.
Can you tell us if it's in the same series, same genre, or completely different?
It's not in the same series. So my first 2 are a duology, and then my 3rd one is a standalone, and I think this one will be a standalone as well. It will be a romance because I love romance, and that's like, it makes me laugh, it makes me smile. But it will be a different romance than I think anybody has expected from me before.
Epic, epic, epic. So before we wrap up and wind down, do you have any questions for me then, friend?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm so curious how like you got into starting a podcast, because I was doing some testers for my 4th book and I was thinking about writing a podcast host, but I ended up turning away from that and writing this new concept. But like, what got you into the podcast? Like, how did you find the guts to like do this and like talk to people all the time? I sound like such an introvert, but like, I'm curious.
Well, I'm a Virgo who pretends to be an extrovert because I taught K-12 education for 13, 14 years.
Oh my goodness.
2020 hit in the middle of me exiting teaching, and literally was like, well, you have those books sitting there doing nothing, because we all know what most high schoolers did the 4th quarter of the year 2020.
Right.
So
Right. I was a high schooler myself, so yeah.
I was going to say, you might not have been quite young enough, but you probably have friends who went that way.
Yes.
Then I just started hanging around what is called AuthorTube. It's the author subsection of YouTube. And I had found that because I was using, ironically, I admin with her for Heart Breathings now. Sarah Cannon's videos. I was using some of her writing as her writing videos, how to, as a teacher for my students, like if they were absent for a long time or didn't understand something. And then I just started looking around what other people do on their channels, and I actually now teach authors how to use YouTube as part of their video marketing.
Oh my gosh, I love that. That is so amazing, because in my cohort with Debbie and these other authors, we talk about different ways of marketing and getting yourself out there with different platforms, and YouTube is one of them that came up. And I would love to use YouTube, but I'm like, I don't know like what to do. I don't know the first thing about it. So like, I will definitely be checking out some of those videos.
Well, this is kind of a bomb drop on you unintentionally and the whole crowd. I'm running a second cohort of So You Want to Be an Author Tuber this summer. So
Oh
if
my
you want to
gosh.
look into joining, it's opening up by the end of summer instead of waiting until 2025, everybody. It'll be by
Yes.
the end of summer by popular demand. And I
Oh my
teach you not only how to do this,
Yeah.
but the format and how to organize your videos and stuff. So yeah.
That is so awesome. Please email me about that, because I will be totally involved. Oh my goodness, that's awesome.
Be glad to have you with our first cohort of authors. You would fit in amazingly. So be
Thank
glad to have you
you.
come visit. Thank you. Any other questions for me as we wind down for the evening and you give us a reminder of where to find all the good stuff for you?
I don't know. I think I'm good. I'm just really excited and like very, very
Yeah.
grateful to have been here. Like, this was such a dream come true. So thank you so, so, so much, Jenna.
Thank you. Thank you. Tell us where we can find you, my friend. Is there a website? Is there a social media handle? Where can we find you and your books?
Yes, you can find my books on Amazon or Barnes and Noble. My website is averyvolz.com, and my Instagram is averyvolzistyping.
I love that. I love that. So definitely, my friends, do give some love and show some support. And we'll have to have Avery back for a visit in the future. Take care of yourselves. Your voice matters. Dang it. Bye.
Thank you so much.